Have you ever felt the weight of embarrassment and shame radiating from those who once wronged you? The averted gazes, the stammered apologies, the palpable discomfort in your presence, these are signs of deeper emotional and psychological turmoil. If you've ever wondered why they can't seem to face you, why your mere existence seems to unsettle them, then this discussion is for you. Today, we're diving deep into the 7 reasons why those who mistreated you are now drowning in shame and embarrassment. We'll uncover the psychological and emotional layers behind their reactions, empowering you with the understanding that their behavior is a testament to your strength and resilience. Join us on this journey of self-discovery and healing as we explore how your light exposes the shadows they've tried to hide. By the end of this discussion, you'll see their shame not as a burden but as a powerful affirmation of your own growth and transformation. Are you ready? Let's get started. 1. Fear of judgment is the beginning of wisdom. This saying holds a mirror to our human experience, reflecting a truth that runs deep in our veins. The fear of being judged by others can lead us to profound self-reflection and, ultimately, to the pursuit of a more righteous path. When we examine this fear closely, we see it as a driving force that shapes our behaviors, influences our choices, and often pushes us to either retreat into avoidance or seek redemption. As a psychologist, I understand that this fear is a complex and deeply ingrained aspect of our social nature, one that can have a significant impact on how we interact with the world around us. Now, consider the person who has wronged someone close to them. The initial sting of recognizing their misdeed is sharp, but it is the subsequent fear of being judged by others that truly unsettles them. This is not merely a fear of being seen as flawed by the person they have wronged, but a pervasive dread that everyone around them might now view them through the lens of their mistake. The anxiety of being judged, of being labeled, and of being forever associated with their worst actions can become overwhelming, driving them to act in ways that they might not have otherwise considered. In social environments, this fear becomes even more pronounced. Picture a friend who has betrayed your trust. They start to avoid social gatherings where there is even the slightest chance of encountering you. This avoidance isn't just about steering clear of you, it's about evading the judgment of everyone else who might be aware of their betrayal. They are not just concerned with facing you but with confronting the whispers, the side glances, and the silent condemnations of those who once regarded them with respect. This fear of being judged is a powerful force, often leading them to withdraw, to avoid eye contact, and to distance themselves from the very communities that once embraced them. What makes this fear so powerful is that it isn't solely about external judgment, it's also deeply internal. The person who has wronged you begins to view themselves through the imagined eyes of others. They anticipate judgment, expecting to be seen as someone who has fallen short, as someone who cannot be trusted. This internalized fear is, in many ways, a form of social self-punishment, a fear that they will be forever defined by their most regrettable actions. It's a fear that looms over every interaction, every conversation, and every potential encounter where their past might resurface. Your continued presence in their life serves as a constant, living reminder of the repercussions of their actions. It's not just about the past anymore, it's about the ongoing and very real consequences that stem from their behavior. Every time they see you, they are reminded of the harm they caused, the trust they shattered, and the judgment that could follow them like a shadow. This fear is exacerbated by the knowledge that you have found a way to move forward, that you possess a strength, a resilience, and perhaps even a sense of peace that they now lack. Your ability to rise above the situation highlights their own shortcomings, making their past mistakes even more glaringly obvious. This fear of being judged is a powerful motivator that often drives people to avoid situations that might bring their past misdeeds to light. It's a fear that can lead to evasiveness, to the avoidance of difficult conversations, and to a self-imposed exile from social settings where they might be held accountable. Yet, it's important to recognize that this fear isn't really about you or your actions. It's about their internal battle, their recognition of their own flaws, and their profound fear of being judged by society at large. At the core of this fear is a deep recognition of having done something wrong. They understand, at some level, that they have acted in a way that goes against social norms, moral principles, or personal values. This realization brings with it a heavy sense of shame, and with shame comes the fear of being judged. They dread the possibility that they might never be able to escape the shadow of their actions, that they will always be viewed through the narrow lens of their mistakes. As you navigate your interactions with them, it's essential to see this fear of judgment for what it truly is, a powerful and undeniable reminder of the consequences of actions. This isn't about holding power over them, it's about acknowledging that their fear is a natural and expected response to the truth and accountability they now face. Their fear of judgment is, in many ways, a testament to the power of truth. When someone is confronted with the reality of their actions, this fear becomes unavoidable. It's the discomfort of facing one's reflection and realizing that the person looking back isn't who they want to be. 2. Impact on their relationships. Let's dive into a subject that's both deeply personal and universally understood: the profound impact of our actions on the relationships we hold dear. Imagine for a moment the scenario where someone in your life, perhaps a colleague, a friend, or a family member, has crossed a line, broken a trust, or caused harm in some way. At first, the pain seems contained within that singular interaction between the two of you. But as time passes, it becomes clear that the consequences extend far beyond the initial wrongdoing. The effects ripple outward, touching everyone connected to the situation in ways that are both subtle and significant. When someone betrays or wrongs another, they often underestimate how far-reaching the consequences can be. They may think that the fallout is limited to the relationship directly involved, but in reality, their actions set off a chain reaction that can disrupt entire networks of relationships. Picture this: a once trusted colleague now finds themselves on the fringes of their professional circle, with peers becoming increasingly wary, hesitant to collaborate or share in confidence. Or consider a family member who has caused hurt. Now, other relatives might begin to pull back, unsure of where their loyalties lie, leading to a gradual distancing that can be painfully isolating. This kind of isolation doesn't happen all at once. It creeps in slowly, often unnoticed by the person who caused the harm until it's too late. At first, they might dismiss the subtle shifts in how others treat them. A conversation that used to flow effortlessly now feels stilted, filled with awkward pauses and unspoken tension. Invitations to social gatherings become less frequent, and when they do come, there's a noticeable chill in the air. These are the early signs that their actions have begun to erode the trust that once held their relationships together. As the person starts to realize what's happening, a deep sense of shame often begins to set in. This isn't just a fleeting embarrassment, it's a profound, lingering regret that permeates their entire being. They start to understand that their actions haven't just harmed one person, they've disrupted the delicate balance of their social and professional lives. Every strained interaction serves as a painful reminder of the bridges they've burned, the connections they've jeopardized, and the support systems they've undermined. This realization is often accompanied by a sense of helplessness. The person may feel as though they're trapped in a web of their own making, unable to repair the damage they've caused. The isolation they experience can be devastating, leading to a loss of confidence, a decline in mental well-being, and a growing sense of alienation from the world around them. They start to question not just the decisions that led to this point, but their entire approach to relationships and how they've navigated their social world. Yet, in this dark moment, there lies the potential for profound change. The discomfort and pain of this isolation can serve as a powerful catalyst for self-reflection and growth. The individual may begin to see their behavior in a new light, recognizing the broader impact of their actions and understanding the importance of empathy, integrity, and responsibility in maintaining healthy relationships. It's a difficult and often painful journey, but one that can lead to meaningful transformation if they are willing to face their mistakes head-on. However, this path to redemption is far from easy. Rebuilding trust takes time, patience, and a genuine commitment to change. The person who caused harm must be prepared to do the hard work of making amends, which involves not just apologizing but actively demonstrating that they've learned from their mistakes and are committed to being better. This might mean seeking out difficult conversations, offering sincere reparations, or taking steps to ensure that their harmful behavior is not repeated. For those on the receiving end of the harm, this process can be incredibly challenging as well. It's not easy to watch someone you care about struggle with the consequences of their actions, especially when those consequences extend to others you care about as well. You might feel a mix of emotions: anger, sadness, compassion, and perhaps even a desire to help them through their difficulties. But it's crucial to remember that while you can offer support, the responsibility for repairing the damage lies with the person who caused it. You have every right to set boundaries, to decide how much or how little you want to be involved in their process of making amends. Forgiveness, if it comes, should be on your terms, and it's perfectly acceptable if you choose not to re-engage with the person who caused harm. Your priority should always be your own emotional health and the preservation of your other relationships that have not been compromised. None of us exists in a vacuum. Our actions, both good and bad, have the potential to affect not just the people we interact with directly, but everyone connected to us. This understanding can inspire us to act with greater mindfulness and compassion, knowing that our choices can have far-reaching consequences that extend well beyond our immediate intentions. As we reflect on the impact of actions on relationships, we're reminded that every interaction we have carries weight. Our words, our deeds, our choices, they all contribute to the complex web of connections that define our lives. And when those connections are strained or broken, it's a powerful lesson in the importance of integrity, empathy, and the ongoing work of nurturing the relationships that matter most to us. 3. Realization of wrongdoing. Have you ever witnessed the moment when someone, who has wronged you, suddenly realizes the full weight of their actions? It's a powerful moment, one that transcends mere words and cuts straight to the core of human experience. Realization of wrongdoing, it's a profound awakening, a moment when the fog of denial lifts, and a person sees their actions for what they truly are. This isn't just a cognitive recognition, it's an emotional upheaval, a deep, gut-wrenching acknowledgement of having strayed from what is right. Imagine, for a moment, being in a room with someone who has hurt you. Perhaps it's a colleague who spread unfounded rumors, a family member who betrayed your trust, or a friend who let you down when you needed them most. Now, picture them in that room, their eyes unable to meet yours, their words faltering. What you're witnessing is not merely awkwardness, it's the unfolding of a deep, internal reckoning. This is the realization of wrongdoing in its most raw form, a powerful, almost primal, response to the undeniable truth of one's actions. This moment of realization is often the first step on a long and difficult journey. For the person who has wronged you, it's the point at which the excuses and justifications they've built up begin to crumble. It's as if they are seeing themselves for the first time, not through the rose-tinted lens of self-justification, but through the clear, unforgiving mirror of reality. The shame that follows is not merely about fearing judgment from others, it's about confronting the self. The person they thought they were and the person they have shown themselves to be are suddenly in stark contrast, and this disparity creates a deep internal conflict. This shame, this deep discomfort, is more than just an emotion, it's a signal that something is fundamentally wrong. It's the mind and body's way of processing the disconnect between their actions and their values. For the first time, they are forced to truly see the pain they've caused, the trust they've broken, and the damage they've done. This realization can be incredibly painful. It's a moment of vulnerability, where the person is stripped of their defenses, left only with the raw truth of their behavior. In these moments, you, the one who was wronged, hold a unique position of power. Your very presence, your resilience, becomes a mirror reflecting back to them the truth they might have tried to avoid. This isn't about revenge or retribution, it's about the undeniable reality that their actions have consequences, not just in the external world, but within themselves. When they can't meet your gaze, it's because they are grappling with this truth, struggling to reconcile their self-image with their actions. For some, this realization can be the beginning of genuine remorse. They may feel compelled to make amends, to seek forgiveness, and to repair the damage they've caused. For others, the shame may be so overwhelming that they retreat further into denial, unable to face the full extent of their wrongdoing. But regardless of how they respond, this moment of realization is crucial. It's the turning point where they can no longer hide from the truth of their actions. Understanding this dynamic allows you to see your role not as a passive victim, but as an active participant in their journey of realization. Your strength, your ability to stand firm in the face of their wrongdoing, forces them to confront their actions. This is not about seeking validation from their shame, but about recognizing the power you hold simply by being true to yourself and your values. As you witness this realization unfold, it's important to remember that this is just the beginning. The shame they feel now is a necessary step in the process of accountability and, potentially, growth. It's a sign that they are beginning to see the truth, that the walls of self-deception are starting to crack. How they choose to move forward from this point is up to them, but the realization of wrongdoing is a critical first step. This understanding also shifts the narrative in your favor. You are no longer defined by the wrongs done to you, but by how you respond to them. Their inability to face you, their shame, is a reflection not of your weakness, but of your strength. It's a testament to the integrity with which you've carried yourself, even in the face of their mistreatment. In this light, the realization of wrongdoing becomes a transformative moment, not just for them, but for you as well. It's a moment where you reclaim your narrative, where you step into your power, and where you recognize that their shame is not something you bear, but something they must grapple with. You have endured their actions, and in doing so, you have emerged stronger, more resilient, and more aware of your own value. As we delve deeper into the reasons behind their shame, always remember this foundational truth: their realization of wrongdoing is the bedrock upon which all other emotions build. It's the core of their discomfort, the root of their inability to face you. And in recognizing this, you also recognize your own strength, because it is your presence, your truth, that has brought them to this moment of reckoning. 4. Exposure of true motives. Imagine you're sitting across from someone, maybe a colleague or a friend, and for the first time, you see the mask slip, the veneer of their intentions crumbling before your eyes. It's not just their words that falter, but the very foundation of their actions. The exposure of their true motives is a moment of raw, unfiltered truth. And it's a truth that, once seen, cannot be unseen. This is the moment when you understand why they did what they did, and it's not because of the reasons they gave. It's something deeper, something darker. You see, when people act out of malice, jealousy, or self-interest, they often craft elaborate stories to justify their behavior. They might present themselves as the victim, or as someone simply misunderstood. But when those stories no longer hold up, when the true motives are exposed, there's a reckoning. It's like standing in a room where all the lights have suddenly been turned on, revealing every corner, every hidden space. There's no more room for shadows to hide in. This moment of exposure is profoundly unsettling for the person whose motives have been revealed. It's not just that others can see their true intentions, it's that they can see them too. They are forced to confront the reality that their actions were not driven by noble intentions or unfortunate circumstances, but by something much less flattering. It's like looking into a mirror that shows not just their reflection, but their innermost thoughts and desires. And what they see isn't pretty. For you, witnessing this exposure can be both validating and uncomfortable. It validates what you might have suspected all along, that their actions were not as innocent as they seemed. But it's also uncomfortable because it reveals the depth of their deception, not just towards others, but towards themselves. It's as if they've been living a lie, and now, that lie is unraveling in front of your eyes. This is a powerful moment. It's a moment where the dynamics of the relationship shift, where the balance of power changes. The person who once tried to undermine you, who perhaps took pleasure in your setbacks, now finds themselves exposed. Their true motives are out in the open, and with that exposure comes a loss of control. They can no longer manipulate the narrative to their advantage. But there's another layer to this exposure, one that goes beyond the immediate consequences. It forces the person to confront the parts of themselves they've tried to keep hidden. This is no small thing. It's one thing to deceive others, it's another to deceive oneself. When the true motives are exposed, there's no more room for self-deception. They must face the reality of who they are and why they acted the way they did. This confrontation can lead to two very different paths. Some will double down on their denial, refusing to acknowledge the truth even when it's staring them in the face. They might become more defensive, more entrenched in their justifications. They might lash out, trying to deflect attention away from their own failings. But deep down, they know the truth, and that knowledge will eat away at them, no matter how hard they try to ignore it. Others, however, might see this exposure as a wake-up call. They might recognize the harm they've caused, not just to others, but to themselves. This recognition can be the first step towards real change. It's not an easy process, facing the darker aspects of oneself never is, but it's a necessary one if they are to grow. The exposure of their true motives can be the catalyst for a transformation, a turning point in their lives. As you observe this process, it's important to remember that their shame, their guilt, and their journey towards understanding are not your responsibility. You are not there to fix them, to make them feel better, or to guide them through their realization. Your role is simply to stand firm in your own truth, to continue being authentic, and to not let their past actions define you. The exposure of true motives is a powerful experience for everyone involved. It's a moment of clarity, a moment where the truth comes to light in all its uncomfortable glory. It's a reminder of the importance of living in alignment with one's values, of being true to oneself and others. And it's a testament to the power of resilience, of standing tall in the face of deception and coming out stronger on the other side. 5. Confrontation with their own insecurities. Imagine sitting with us in a quiet room, where the walls themselves seem to breathe with the weight of shared stories. There's a soft light filtering through the windows, casting a gentle glow on the space where we're having this important conversation. Today, we're not just going to talk about the actions of others but delve deeper into the hearts and minds of those who have wronged you. And as we do, we invite you to open yourself to a profound truth. Their actions weren't just about you, they were, in many ways, a reflection of their own internal struggles. You see, every time someone lashes out, belittles, or undermines another, it's often because they're wrestling with something within themselves. Maybe it's a fear of inadequacy, a gnawing feeling that they'll never measure up. Or perhaps it's jealousy, that green-eyed monster that whispers, "Why them and not you?" These insecurities can be so powerful, so overwhelming, that they drive people to act in ways that hurt others, sometimes without them even fully realizing it. Now, imagine that person, the one who caused you pain. Picture them in a quiet moment, perhaps lying awake at night or staring into a mirror, forced to confront the truth of their actions. They're no longer able to hide behind excuses or rationalizations. The mask has slipped, and what's left is a raw, unfiltered look at their own insecurities. This moment of confrontation is not just about guilt, it's about a deep, uncomfortable recognition of the flaws and fears that drove their behavior. In your presence, they might feel exposed, as if you hold a mirror up to them that reflects back all the things they've tried so hard to bury. It's not just your strength or resilience that unsettles them, it's the stark contrast between their actions and their underlying motivations. Each time they see you, they're reminded of the fear, the jealousy, or the insecurity that they've tried to deny for so long. And that reminder can be a heavy burden to carry. But this confrontation with their own insecurities isn't just a source of shame, it's also a potential catalyst for change. When someone is forced to face their deepest fears and flaws, they're given an opportunity, however painful, to grow. It's a chance to dig deep, to understand the roots of their behavior, and to start the slow, often difficult process of becoming a better person. This journey isn't easy, and it's certainly not quick. It requires humility, honesty, and a willingness to sit with discomfort. But it's a journey worth taking. As they go through this process, your role is not to fix them or to carry their shame. Instead, your role is to continue living with integrity, strength, and self-respect. By doing so, you not only honor your own journey but also set a powerful example of what it means to live authentically. Their confrontation with their insecurities is their own battle, and while you may be a catalyst, you are not responsible for the outcome. It's important to remember that their shame, their discomfort, and their process of self-reflection are not about you. They are about them, about their own need to grow, to heal, and to become the person they perhaps wish they had been all along. As you navigate your own healing process, it's crucial to recognize that their journey is separate from yours, even if your paths have crossed in painful ways. In these moments, hold on to the understanding that you are not defined by their actions or their insecurities. Instead, you are defined by your response to them, by your ability to stand strong in the face of adversity, to maintain your dignity, and to keep moving forward with compassion for yourself. This is your strength, the ability to rise above the pettiness, the insecurity, and the hurt, and to emerge on the other side with a clearer sense of who you are and what you deserve. Their shame is, in many ways, a silent acknowledgement of your power. It's a recognition, whether spoken or unspoken, that you have had an impact on them, a deep, perhaps unsettling impact that forces them to look at themselves in a way they never have before. This impact is not about revenge or retribution, it's about truth. It's about holding up a mirror not just to them, but to the world, and saying, "This is who I am. This is what I deserve." As you continue on your path, let this understanding ground you. Let it be a source of quiet strength and confidence. You don't need to seek validation from them, nor do you need to carry their shame. Instead, allow yourself to be the person you know you are, a person of integrity, compassion, and resilience. This is your power, your gift, and your truth. And as for them, let them deal with their own insecurities. Let them sit with their discomfort, their shame, and their fear. This is their journey, their lesson to learn. In time, they may grow, they may change. But whether they do or not is not your concern. Your concern is you, your growth, your healing, and your journey toward a life that reflects the strength, wisdom, and compassion you carry within you. We want to leave you with this thought: the confrontation with one's own insecurities is one of the most challenging experiences a person can face. But it's also one of the most transformative. For those who wronged you, this confrontation is an opportunity for growth, if they choose to take it. For you, it's a reminder of your strength and the power you have to shape your own destiny, no matter what others may do. So, as you move forward, carry this truth with you. Let it be a beacon of light in the darkest of times, a reminder that you are stronger than you know, and that no one's actions can diminish the light that shines within you. 6. Truth. When we explore the idea of losing respect, we're stepping into a realm that deeply affects the human spirit. This isn't just a fleeting feeling or a minor setback, it's a profound shift that can shake a person to their core. Picture yourself facing someone who once valued and trusted you. There's a tension in the air, a distance that wasn't there before. You can feel it in the way they speak, the way they look at you. It's as if an invisible wall has been erected between you, and that wall is built from the fragments of the respect that has been lost. This is no small thing. It's a transformation that touches every aspect of your interaction, and it's something that both parties can sense, even if no words are exchanged. Respect is often seen as a given, something we don't think much about until it's gone. We live our lives assuming that the people around us will continue to view us in the same light, that the trust and admiration we've built will remain intact. But what happens when that assumption is shattered? A single misstep, a thoughtless action, or a moment of dishonesty can unravel the fabric of respect that took years to weave. The aftermath is not just a change in how others view you, it's a fundamental shift in how you view yourself. This loss of esteem isn't just about the external world, it reaches into the very depths of your own self-perception, leaving you with a sense of unease that's hard to shake. Imagine, for a moment, the sting of letting someone down, not in a trivial way, but in a manner that cuts deep. Maybe it was a colleague whose efforts you undermined, or a close friend whose trust you betrayed. The dynamic changes immediately. What was once a relationship marked by ease and openness now feels strained and awkward. There's a weight in the air, an unspoken understanding that things aren't the same. The loss of respect has created a rift, and that rift is felt in every interaction. It's not something that can be easily repaired with a simple apology or a kind gesture. It's a wound that takes time to heal, and in some cases, it may never fully mend. The most difficult aspect of losing respect is the internal struggle that follows. When you no longer hold yourself in the same regard, it's like a piece of your identity has been chipped away. You start to question your values, your actions, and your very sense of self. This internal conflict isn't just a passing phase, it's a profound challenge to your self-concept. You begin to see the divide between the person you thought you were and the reality of your actions. Bridging that divide is no easy task. It requires a level of introspection and honesty that can be uncomfortable and even painful. Now, think about what it's like to be in the presence of the person you've wronged. Every interaction with them is a reminder of what you've lost. Their very presence triggers a sense of guilt and regret, a constant reminder of the respect that has been squandered. It's not just their respect that's gone, it's the respect of others who have witnessed or heard about your actions. This loss doesn't stay confined to a single relationship, it spreads, affecting how you're perceived by your peers, your community, and even by those who don't know you well. Regaining respect is a daunting task, and it's not something that can be achieved overnight. It requires a genuine commitment to change, a willingness to face the consequences of your actions, and a deep desire to become a better person. This process isn't about making superficial changes or offering empty apologies. It's about demonstrating, through consistent actions, that you've learned from your mistakes and that you're committed to earning back the respect you've lost. It's a long, often difficult journey, but it's one that is essential for rebuilding trust and restoring your own sense of self-worth. Before you can hope to regain the respect of others, you have to start with yourself. Self-respect is the foundation upon which all other respect is built. If you don't respect yourself, it's unlikely that others will either. This means taking a hard look at your actions, understanding where you went wrong, and making a conscious decision to do better. It's not about beating yourself up or dwelling on past mistakes, it's about learning and growing from those experiences. This process of self-examination is crucial, as it allows you to align your actions with your values and to move forward with a clear conscience. For those who have been hurt, it's important to recognize that you're not obligated to forgive or to make the process of regaining respect easier for the other person. Your priority should be to protect your own well-being and to maintain your own sense of integrity. It's natural to feel compassion for someone who is struggling with the consequences of their actions, but that compassion doesn't mean you have to compromise your own boundaries or diminish your own standards. The person who has lost your respect needs to take responsibility for their actions and to do the work necessary to repair the damage they've caused. Maintaining your own integrity in the face of someone else's loss of respect is a powerful stance. It serves as a reminder that respect is earned, not given freely, and that it must be maintained through consistent, honorable behavior. By upholding your own values, you not only protect yourself, but you also set an example for others. This can be a difficult balance to strike, being firm in your boundaries while also remaining open to the possibility of reconciliation, but it's a balance that's crucial for your own emotional health and for the integrity of your relationships. 7. Emotional discomfort. Finally, let's talk about emotional discomfort, a feeling we all encounter but rarely stop to dissect. Imagine this as a conversation between us, a dialogue where we explore this complex emotion together. Emotional discomfort isn't just a fleeting feeling, it's a deep, often unsettling reaction that arises when someone is confronted with the impact of their actions, particularly when those actions conflict with their self-image. Picture someone who once dismissed your dreams now fumbling through a conversation when you share your latest success, or a friend who downplayed your feelings now visibly uncomfortable as you express a moment of vulnerability. These are instances where emotional discomfort takes center stage, manifesting as a physical unease that is hard to ignore. This discomfort is rooted in something called cognitive dissonance. It's that mental tug-of-war that happens when a person's self-perception clashes with the reality of their behavior. They've built an image of themselves that doesn't align with how they've acted, and now, faced with the evidence of their missteps, they're forced to reconcile these opposing truths. This dissonance creates a kind of psychological friction, an inner turmoil that grows more intense in your presence. You, in a way, become a mirror reflecting their mistakes, making it impossible for them to escape the emotional fallout of their actions. When this discomfort surfaces, you'll notice various coping mechanisms come into play. Some might try to deflect, perhaps by changing the topic, cracking a joke, or even reacting defensively. These are all attempts to manage the discomfort, to push away the feelings that are bubbling up inside. But beneath these surface-level reactions, there's often a deep sense of shame. It's a shame born from the realization that their actions have not only hurt you but have also compromised their own emotional integrity, challenging the way they see themselves. Now, let's pause here. This emotional discomfort isn't just a nuisance for them, it's a signal that their conscience is stirring. It's that inner voice urging them to confront the reality of what they've done. In some cases, this discomfort can serve as a catalyst for change, nudging them toward reflection and even prompting them to consider making amends. But the road to self-awareness and growth isn't always smooth. Sometimes, instead of embracing this discomfort as an opportunity for growth, they resist it, trying to bury the feelings because facing them is just too painful. As you encounter these moments, it's crucial to remember that their emotional discomfort isn't about you, it's about them. It's a reflection of their own internal battles, their struggle to reconcile who they think they are with what they've done. Your role in these interactions is to maintain your own emotional equilibrium. It's easy to get swept up in their discomfort, to feel responsible for it, or even to question your own actions. But keep in mind, their discomfort is their journey, not yours. You're simply a participant in this chapter of their story, a catalyst perhaps, but not the author. By staying grounded and setting clear boundaries, you can navigate these situations with both grace and compassion. It's about recognizing that while you may be a reminder of their emotional turmoil, you're also an example of emotional honesty and integrity. In a way, you're showing them what it looks like to own one's feelings, to confront emotional discomfort head-on rather than running from it. This doesn't mean you have to take on their emotional baggage, far from it. Instead, it's about staying true to yourself while offering them the space to work through their discomfort in their own time. This kind of interaction can be challenging, no doubt. It's not easy to be the person who triggers someone else's discomfort, especially when you might be dealing with your own emotions. But understanding where this discomfort comes from can help you approach these situations with empathy, even if their reactions are less than kind. It's about seeing the bigger picture, realizing that their discomfort, while uncomfortable, is a necessary part of their emotional journey. It's a sign that they're being pushed to confront truths they'd rather avoid, truths that could lead to meaningful change if they're willing to face them. So, as you continue to navigate these emotionally charged encounters, keep in mind the power of emotional discomfort. It's a force that can drive people to introspection and, ultimately, to transformation. But it's also a force that can cause resistance, fear, and even denial. Your challenge is to remain a steady presence in the storm, not getting swept away by their emotional turbulence, but instead, standing firm in your own emotional truth. By doing so, you create a space where growth is possible, not just for them, but for you as well. It's a signal that there's work to be done, lessons to be learned, and perhaps, amends to be made. So, as we conclude this conversation, take with you the understanding that emotional discomfort, while challenging, is also an opportunity for growth, for change, and for a deeper understanding of ourselves and others.